What is going on, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about Erwan Heussaff's video on his 7-day water fast. I'm going to give you my thoughts and I'm going to break it down for you. Stay tuned. Okay, one interesting thing that he did with this video is that he had a female perspective and his own perspective. And I know you guys have been a little irritated with me not doing any intermittent fasting specific videos for women. Usually it's because I want to have a woman's actual touch in the video. I want someone who is a woman to actually explain. My wife has done that actually in one video before, in just a brief element, but I'll go ahead and tackle it. I hear you guys. And I do apologize if you feel that I've neglected you, but I haven't. And I will actually put out a video very soon. I am getting all the data together to give you the most accurate information possible. Once I have it structured for you, I will drop that video for you, okay? But generally speaking, for women, it is still good. You still get benefits when you do intermittent fasting, but I'll dive deeper in that future video. Now, this 7-day water fast. I want to break this video down to explain what he did, what she did, and the different numbers that they had at the end for their weight loss, as well as the blood level and stuff like that, and dive a little bit deeper into that so you guys can understand what's happening, and also, is this safe to do? Now, Erwan says that he didn't do it for weight loss purposes. He did it as a detoxification. Now, I definitely dig the double perspective because you do want to see how people are reacting, and people will react to certain things differently. This is not a 7-day dry fast. This is a 7-day water fast, which is completely different. Within those 7 days, there's some telling marks that happen that I want to touch on. First of all, it was extremely difficult for them in the beginning. You can tell it's very, very difficult for them. They are very heavily craving food, which means that they are not fat adapted. Once you're fat adapted, you literally do not crave food. You literally have done that switch over where you don't crave food. They're pushing themselves into this. They probably were eating open-ended in terms of just as much as they want, or just, you know, the normal traditional, you know, breakfast or lunch and dinner. He did mention that he's just been eating as much as he wants, and he's not really regulating what he's eating and how much he's eating and when he's eating. He's just eating. So he's trying to, you know, reset himself, and that's fine. So they go ahead and do this whole system. At the 5th day mark, however, his wife breaks her fast, and then she appears to have eaten after that, day 6 and day 7, as she considered her day 5 as the end of her water fast. So she started eating soup, which is decent when you're breaking a long-term fast like that, a prolonged fast like that. It is decent to eat soup because it's liquidy. It's easier for your stomach to take it in and start, you know, taking in food, taking in calories in that manner. So she broke her fast in the 5th day, and it appears that after that, she simply did intermittent fasting, as she stated during the weigh-in, and just continued to eat using intermittent fasting. Erwan, however, did the whole 7 days. When they both weighed themselves at the end, he lost a total of 13.2 pounds and she lost a total of 4.4 pounds. Now, this is not an indicator of this being better for men or women. A lot of people look at numbers and say, well, this is proof right here that women don't succeed as much as men in intermittent fasting. That is not the case. There's so many other variables that one has to take into account. How much is his body fat percentage versus how much is her body fat percentage? How tall is he? How tall is she? How much weight does he need to lose? How much weight does she need to lose? There are more things in play here, as well as the fact that he continued to fast and she stopped doing the water fast by day 5. So he has a whole 2 days of being in that post-absorptive continuous range moving forward. Meanwhile, she's doing intermittent fasting, so she has limited post-absorptive range. You're burning body fat less than him. Plus, you also have to take in the calorie element as well. She's consuming calories, he's consuming no calories. One thing I want to focus on is when he reached about day 5, he was fine. He was perfectly fine. And it's at this point that I would always tell someone that if they're doing a reset or a detoxification, or they simply want to just make themselves ready to do intermittent fasting without an issue, where it's very, very easy for you. So you create basically a base or a platform for you to be able to do that. The moment you are no longer hungry is the moment that you can start going into intermittent fasting. You don't have to go beyond that. I know a lot of people want to do 7 days because 7 days is a whole week. It's like a lot of people want to put, you know, that stamp on it. So it's like, oh, I want to do 30 days instead of doing like, you know, just 12 days, because 12 was 12. You know, you want to do either 15 or 30 or, you know, 1 week. Everybody wants to give it those like calendar dates kind of structure, but you don't have to do that. You can do 5 days, and if you see that in 5 days you are reset and you can, you know, and you don't feel hungry, you were hungry but you don't feel hungry, your body has adjusted from the withdrawal of not eating. So at that point you can start doing intermittent fasting, and you don't have to continue to simply water fast. He continued because he made a goal of 7 days, and when he checked his blood around day 5, he had 65 milligrams per deciliter, and that means he was around that hyperglycemia level of a type 1 diabetic, which is that they don't produce enough insulin, so your blood sugar levels are usually really low. He hit the almost dangerous mark in terms of type 1 diabetes. However, within the context of what he was doing, he doesn't have type 1 diabetes, so it isn't as dangerous as one might say. It is low, shouldn't be that low, but it's controlled low. We know why his blood is at 65 milligrams per deciliter, so it's not insanely dangerous. Now, had that thing been at like 50 or something like 45, he is in a very risky situation, because he can have seizures, he can go into a coma, and he can die because his pancreas can't upregulate anymore and try to elevate the sugar levels in his blood. So if it gets to that level, which is why I don't advocate for the 30-day water fast that a lot of people say they want to do, because although some people's pancreas can keep them alive, others cannot, and basically you have to just test your body to see if you can do it or not. So you have to roll that dice, and I just don't want to roll that dice, and I hope that a lot of people don't want to roll that dice either. A lot of people look at this in this context and they think to themselves, I'm going to do this because it's going to make me lose a lot of weight. But you have to look at things in the long term. That's the quick fast grab. You want to lose weight fast, but you want to do it in a way that you will sustain the weight loss and you will keep the weight off or continue to lose weight. You don't want to do something that you can only do as like a blunt force one-time deal and then go back to doing something else and then gain all that weight back, and all that misery and all that hardship you went through ends up being for nothing. So if you're focusing on just weight loss, you don't have to do a 7-day water fast, and you don't have to do a 30-day fast. Please don't do a 30-day water fast. You don't have to do any of that. You can do a reset if you like, but I recommend that at the moment you no longer feel hungry, where you wake up and you're like, whoa, I'm not hungry. The whole day you're not hungry. You've gone through the withdrawal process, and you can start eating. You're slowly becoming fat adapted. Everything has been switching little by little. So then you can start the process of doing intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting at that point will be very, very easy for you, since you've already done multiple days without eating at all. It was a good video. You guys should check it out. I will have the link of the video in my description, so you can go ahead and click it, go ahead and watch it. It's a really good video. It's a good, like, kind of, you know, just to see how people go through it, what's their experience, how they feel. You usually feel like crap in the beginning. Those first few days are always going to be taxing on you, because your body is like, whoa, what is happening? Please eat something. And it doesn't mean that because you're feeling sluggish and you're feeling tired and you can't move and you feel dizzy and disoriented and all this stuff. All of those are withdrawal symptoms. It's the same thing as saying someone who takes heroin is, you take the heroin away from him, he's going to feel like crap. He's going to feel like absolute crap. But does it mean that it's bad for him and that you should just give him the heroin right now? Because if not, he's gonna feel like crap. So obviously him feeling like crap means that something's wrong. He needs the heroin. No, it's not. That's not what it means. It simply means that he is going through a withdrawal phase. When he's on the other side of that, he will then become much better, or feel much better than he did even when he was taking the heroin. So it's the way for your body to kind of readjust itself to the new situation that it has to deal with. That's when it can tap into your fat much more quicker, understands that you're not gonna have food, so it taps into your fat, it switches over, it uses body fat for fuel. Am I against a 7-day water fast? I am much more against it for the simple act of losing weight. If you want to do a reset and you want to attempt a 7-day water fast, I would say don't put a number on it. Simply do a reset. But when you hit that moment where you're not hungry at all, where you were like hungry, not hungry. If that's day 4, that's when you should stop doing it and then go into intermittent fasting. Remember, you don't want your blood sugar levels to go low. His went to 65 milligrams per deciliter on day 5. We don't know what it was on day 6 or day 7, but I'm sure it was lower. But you don't want it to get to about 50 milligrams per deciliter. That gets you into that little dangerous area where you can have those seizures and those comas and go and die. And that's something that's just not necessary for a simple just 1 week weight loss. You don't want to do that. Will you be in those kind of dangerous levels from a 7-day water fast? Usually no, but I do want to point out that everyone has different health issues or health things or inherited, genetics of whatever situation. So you should always consult a doctor before you do anything with your diet at all. But it also doesn't mean that you are a type 1 diabetic, because you're not. Your body, it's not that you're eating food and you have food, but yet your body can't get to the next meal without keeping the blood sugars low. It's simply that is a controlled situation where you're doing this to yourself. You're setting this up for yourself. So am I fully against a 7-day water fast? I am not. However, like I mentioned, I'd rather you do it more intuitively based off of your specific withdrawal symptoms. And once you become tolerant to the fasting, then stop, just to be as safe as possible. Well, I hope my thoughts and breakdown of that video helped you guys. You should definitely go ahead and check out that video, and maybe that can give you somewhat of an insight for the water fast and how one might experience a water fast. And I want to thank my patrons from my Patreon, and I'm going to put their names right up here. And I'll see you on Wednesday for another FAQ. Peace.